ever since I was probably 12 years old, down on our farm in Kentucky, started driving our old pickups and tractors around, and I just absolutely loved driving. And so that led to a stint with the Sports Car Club of America, and then that just led to sort of my love of old cars and old buildings, and it just sort of flourished from there. My parents drove Cadillacs and Pontiacs in those days, and I inherited an MGB sports car from my brother when he went off to the Air Force. And my gosh, when I started driving that MG, you know, what a night and day difference between an MG and a Cadillac. And I used to sort of say one was riding and one was driving. And you can imagine which was which. And, you know, I just, from that point on, I've just always loved automobiles. I started buying one car a year for my collection. I would put my money aside, and absolute true, I'd keep an idea of what I was looking for and what I wanted. Soon that word would spread to dealers and other people, and I would buy one car a year. And in those early years, they were mostly Cadillacs and Corvettes, because starting a family and so on and so forth, if you ever needed to really sort of sell one, Cadillacs and Corvettes were pretty easy to sell, and that did happen every now and then. So that's how it happened, and I'm still doing that to this day, one car a year. I wasn't a great student, but one of my favorite courses and classes was history. I love history, and sort of tend to have always gravitated towards unique history, unique architecture, and certainly I sort of see it in a little bit of my eyes as art. And so then when you tie in design and art, whether it's automobiles or buildings, you know, there's just a real importance in sort of sharing that history and preserving the past for the future and how it relates to the future. The younger generation, you know, sort of knowing where we've been and where we're going. And I think the challenge in this new sort of day and age to build not only the car hobby with younger members, but the importance of history in general. Back in the early 1900s, there was the Marmon Wasp that won the Speedway, and then there was the Mercer, and then there was the Stutz Bearcat. And this car is really what put Stutz on the map and started the production company, because the Bearcats were in so much demand. This is a 1929 Stutz, and the interesting thing about it is that it's a dual cowl. It has dual windshields to protect the passengers in the rear seat, and it was most notably used for occasions, and sometimes grand occasions. One of my Auburn cars is sitting out at the airport now, and sort of trying to spread that message. And you know, that question and the story of Indiana automobiles is wonderful, not only on just sort of the advent of the automobile and how it sort of got started really with the design and the growth of it here in Indiana, Indianapolis, around the Speedway, but it was really the hotbed of engineering and design. You could capture that spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit that truly existed here in Indiana at the turn of the century, mostly around the automobile. I think that is a spirit and an endeavor that many people are trying to sort of capture, and it's very important in the history of Indiana. Well, I would say there's no doubt the most joy I get out of the collecting would probably be two things. First of all, just like what we're doing and you're trying to do at Conner Prairie, is the sharing. You know, I've always enjoyed that. Certainly when I bought the Stutz factory and we have a place to put the cars, it is astounding, and you all are going to find out as the years roll by how people enjoy these cars. And you know, collectors, you know, whether it's art or cars or airplanes, love it. But to share that with others is really special. And then the second part is the driving, as I've alluded to. I love driving them. Driving this Bearcat is absolute treat. And really driving any of them is a real joy.